Hi, I'm Jordan from Kettner Creative. In this video, we're going to compare the Mackie ProFX6v3 Audio Mixer against the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2 audio interface. Both of these devices are extremely popular for home studios, recording, and live streaming. So we're going to compare them and we're going to recommend which device I would use in each situation. If you're looking for current pricing or specs for either one of these devices, we do have links down in the description below where you can find current pricing and where to buy either one of these at a variety of online retailers so you can find the best price online. Now, before we go into my opinion on either one of these devices, let's quickly talk about the specs of either device. The Mackie ProFX has phantom power for your condenser microphones, and so does the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2 audio interface. Both audio interfaces have a bit depth of 24 and a sample rate of 192 kilohertz. The Mackie ProFX6v3 has 60 decibels of gain. The Scarlett 2i2 has 56 decibels of gain. The Mackie ProFX6v3 has an EIN noise rating of minus 126, and the 2i2 has minus 128. What that means is the Mackie has 4 decibels more gain, so it can amplify microphones that are hard to amplify, like the RE20 or the SM7B. It can do that better, but it is just a little bit noisier than the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2. What you would notice here is just a little bit more background hiss when that preamp is turned up all the way, but the good news is you can turn it up all the way, and you probably don't need something like a cloud lifter when you're using a hard to drive microphone like the RE20. On the back of the Mackie ProFX6v3, there is a power switch, and it does have external power. On the back of the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2, it's bus powered, which means that it's powered from the USB cable that connects this device to your computer, but there is no power switch for the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2. It's just always on if it's connected to your computer. On the Mackie ProFX6v3, there is a 2-band EQ, which allows you to change the tone of your microphone. The Focusrite Scarlett does not have anything like that. Also has 24 different effects built into the effects engine. We're not going to cover all of them in this video. We do have a separate video that I'll link in the description below where you can hear each one of those 24 effects if you're interested. On the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2, they do have this air mode. I consider it more of an effect, even though it is kind of an EQ, but it provides an upper frequency boost to whatever you plugged into the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2. Okay, now let's look at the physical features and the physical inputs on either one of these devices. First, let's start with the inputs. So on the Mackie ProFX, there's 2 combi jacks. These combi jacks will accept XLR or 1/4 inch. They'll accept line level 1/4 inch and instrument level 1/4 inch, so you can plug in your electric guitar or electric bass guitar straight into this. You just have to engage the high Z button there if you are plugging an instrument like that straight into this audio mixer. Beside that, we have a stereo 1/4 inch line level input here with its own volume knob. Plus, there's a headphone jack input, an aux input, an 1/8 inch stereo line in there for the 5.6 input. If you don't want to use that, you have the option of doing a loopback from your computer where you can click this button and you can send USB 3.4 from your computer to the audio mixer here and mix that into your live stream or live event. Now, also with the Mackie ProFX, you do get this blend knob. What this blend knob does is it blends between your audio software that you're using and the 0 latency inputs on your audio mixer. So if you're doing vocal recording with your audio software, you've already done all the tracks, you can play that back through your headphones and you can live mix that with your 0 latency input from the audio mixer, so you're not waiting for your vocal mic to go to the computer and come back. Now, in terms of features on the front of the Scarlett 2i2, it has the same combi jack inputs that can accept XLR mic level, 1/4 inch line level, or 1/4 inch instrument level. If you are using the instrument level, you just have to click this instrument button there. You can see that it's illuminated with the instrument light there. There's that air feature, which we'll compare to the EQ later. And it does have direct monitoring options as well, which allow you to directly monitor the audio interface, either both inputs in both ears, or you can separate them so you can hear input 1 on the left ear and input 2 on the right ear. If you're doing a podcast or if you're miking a stereo piano or something like that, that might be a helpful feature for you. Now, overall, I'm sure that you can see that there are quite a few different options. So I'm going to talk about this coming from a home recording option. Which one would I use for home recording? I would use the Mackie ProFX over the Focusrite Scarlett. Now, this might be controversial. Generally speaking, an audio interface like the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2 is better optimized for home recording. As we talked about earlier, it does have just a hair less gain. Generally, that's not a huge deal, and it actually sounds a little bit quieter on the inputs. That being said, I actually like the Mackie ProFX better for recording. There's two reasons why. One, it has this stereo pan button here that you can engage. If you engage that stereo pan button, you can multi-track. It basically takes input 1 and sends it separately to your audio software, separate from audio input number 2. So you can essentially multi-track the same way that you can with the Focusrite Scarlett. That being said, the main feature that I love when I'm home recording the most is this blend knob. The ability to blend between what's coming from the computer with what's live coming from the mixer is super helpful when you're doing like guitar overdubs with an electric guitar. So you're wanting to monitor it here, vocal recording, anything like that. It does help a lot. So it's a super handy feature there. The Focusrite Scarlett doesn't have the blend knob. It does have direct monitoring. It's just not as easy and as workable. For me, that blend knob is better for home recording than the extra 2 dB of EIN noise that the Focusrite Scarlett prevents you from getting in your recording. So that's just my 2 cents on that. Next, let's talk about live streaming. If you're live streaming, I again prefer the Mackie because you can do things like basic EQ. You have a lot more. You have a low cut button here that you can roll off the low end, which cleans up the noise if you're also having game noise. Plus, you have more inputs. So you can have 2 different microphones, or you can have a microphone and a different mic. You can have 2 guests on a podcast. Plus, you can have line level inputs and USB loopback if you're playing music or tracks, or if you're talking about a video. You can mix all that live really fast. I love tactile button feedback, and the Mackie ProFX gives you that over the Focusrite Scarlett. Next, for the last one, it's a no-brainer, but for live events, the Mackie ProFX can do that too. If you're a DJ, if people know that you're into audio and they might ask you to start, setting up a sound system for their wedding or small corporate events or something like that, you can't do that at all with the Focusrite Scarlett, but you can do that with the Mackie ProFX series. And this is a great little mixer here with a lot of features. So when I compare both of these devices, I recommend the Mackie over the Focusrite Scarlett for every use case. The only time I wouldn't recommend the Mackie is if you don't have the desk space. The Focusrite Scarlett does sit nicely under your monitor on your desk, but if space isn't an issue, the Mackie beats it for live streaming, home recording, or live events easily, in my opinion. And that's what I would recommend that you buy if you're comparing the Mackie against the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2. Again, if you do want pricing or specs for anything that you see in this video, we do have a list and helpful links down in the description below where you can see current up-to-date pricing on everything here. If you do have questions that I never answered in this video, if you're expecting me to cover this from a different angle, please leave a comment down in the comment section below. I love hearing from you, love getting feedback on how we can improve these and include the information that you're looking for in the future. And if you want to see more videos like this in the future, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.